New York Harbor at 2 a.m. Just like the city that never sleeps, this portal of trade is active 24 hours a day. At the heart of the harbor is the tugboat. Floating powerhouses, these vessels are responsible for help building one of the world's greatest ports.
Okay, it's not in a minute there. Let me make sure she's settled in because we got a heck of a swing on her right now.
Security call, the Morton Esco Charterford backing out east of 1 IMTT Bay.
Alright, I'll be out of your way in just a minute here. Yeah, no problem.
Like the tiny mouse in Aesop's fable who freed the mighty lion, the little tugboat is a symbol of something small being able to accomplish great tasks. Long a part of New York's maritime history, the story of the boats and men who helped make New York a world-class city are underappreciated. When we look at their story, we see fiercely independent spirits, driven to succeed. It is the American success story. The tugboat is an iconic image recognized around the world. From an early age, we learn these boats represent determination, courage, and hard work. Even today, in our modern, fast-paced world, the simple tugboat still captures our attention and imagination. Before you can appreciate the significance of New York tugboats, you have to understand the significance of New York Harbor. Considered one of the best natural ports in the world, this harbor provides protected deep water anchorage and connects the North Atlantic Ocean to vast inland waterways. If New York Harbor didn't exist, New York City and all of its achievements never would have been created. The vast implications of this geographic phenomenon are rooted in the harbor's creation millions of years ago. 1,000 million years ago, tectonic plates collided, pushing columns of soft and hard rock into mountains. A million years ago, mile-thick glaciers moved down from the Arctic and eroded the mountains. The columns of soft rock washed away, creating waterways, including the Hudson River, East River, and New York Harbor. The remaining hard bedrock formed land masses, laying the foundation for Manhattan's skyscrapers. The stage was now set for waterborne commerce. On a warm fall day in 1609, Henry Hudson sailed his Half Moon up a previously uncharted river in search of a shorter trade route to the west. When the Dutch heard of this great natural waterway, they traded with the Indians for the right to create a settlement on the tip of what is now Manhattan. Commerce was the colony's priority from day one. New Amsterdam was a business enterprise charged with turning a profit. The safe movement of ships in and out of the settlement was integral to the colony's survival. If traded goods couldn't be safely imported and exported, the colony would have been abandoned. All ships entering and leaving New York Harbor must pass through a narrow channel off of Sandy Hook. Tidal currents race through this channel, reversing direction 4 times a day. Early sailing ships could only sail in the general direction the wind was blowing. If the wind was blowing from the direction they wanted to travel to, they had to wait for the wind to shift behind them. After months at sea, a ship finally arriving at New York Harbor may have had to wait for several weeks to get into the harbor. While waiting for a favorable wind, a severe storm could hit, sinking the ship with loss of life. Also at risk was the cargo, an imperiled asset until safely delivered on the wharf. Clearly, an opportunity existed to the person who could solve these problems. It was man's harnessing the power of fire and water in the form of a steam engine that gave birth to the tugboat.
It's an extremely important technology that wouldn't have happened without its genesis right here on the Hudson River.
It was along the bucolic shores of the Hudson River that the age of steam-powered boats was born. For it was here that the business partnership of Robert Fulton and Robert Livingston pioneered the concept of a profitable steamboat company.
And they may not have invented the first boat, but they started the transportation revolution. They made the steamboat from something that a crackpot had invented nobody wanted to ride on to a useful everyday tool that just became so important to the history of America.
steamboats revolutionized the transportation of people and cargo, ultimately giving birth to the tugboat industry.
It comes out of this sort of patriotic ideal. If I invent something that's going to help America, we're going to be an even greater country than we could have ever been.
Robert Fulton's business partner was Robert Livingston, a wealthy tenant farmer from the shores of the Hudson River. Their first experimental boat, later called the Claremont, was built on the East River in New York City at the yards of Charles Brown. The first run to Albany was on August 17, 1807. Fulton and Livingston had no idea this day would be marked as a turning point for America and the world. What took a sailboat a week now could be accomplished in a day and a half.
They were successful and they showed people it could be done, and more people wanted to ride the steamboat. That just became so important to the history of America.